Without understanding these four, one cannot be a Hindu. They can say whatever they like, because it's such a vast way of life, religion. You can be a Hindu even if you don't believe in God. I mean, Advaita comes pretty close to that. It's just a refined way of saying, I don't believe in God, or certain forms of Advaita. So his question is that once I said that Ga, Gita, Ganga, and Gayatri are the four pillars of Sanatan Dharma. That why do we place such high importance on Ga, which is a cow, or Ganga, Mother Divine, Ganges, the river? The reason Ga, Ganga, Gita, and Gayatri, because they sound very nice. Very nice flavor words, all starting with a G. So I thought it's nice flavor words, so I should just say four things. But I've seen many temples with multiple pillars. To set aside the humor for a moment, Gayatri Mantra. If somebody really wants to walk the path of sadhana, it's non-negotiable. It's like if you want to learn sentence construction in English, you have to be brought up in an environment where people are either speaking to you in English or you are listening to other people speak English, or you are put through some system of education where you learn the alphabet and you learn the art of sentence construction, you learn grammar, prepositions, active, passive, and so on and so forth. Without that, your expression in English will not come forth. I'm not saying it's necessary to go to a school if you're brought up in an environment where you hear people speak English. So either you are a sadhak, you're doing sadhana, and you're brought up in that environment where you see how sadhana is done. But if that is not the case, or even if that is the case, a bit of formal education never hurts. So on the path of sadhana, it is a Vedic mantra, and she's called Ved Mata, the mother of the Vedas. Hence, it's non-negotiable. Gita, Bhagavad Gita, is such a short scripture, because when somebody starts to navigate Sanatana Dharma, it's so easy to get lost. And it's so easy to feel overwhelmed. It's so easy to think, कहाँ से शुरू करें, कहाँ से खत्म करें, ये क्या हमने मोल ले लिया. भगवद गीता, गीता सुगीता कर्तव्य किम अन्य शास्त्र विस्तर, यह स्वयं पद्मनाभस्य मुख पद्मादि विनिश्रिता. Ved Vyasa says that you don't really have to look into any other scripture. This is what Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, Padmanabh, said himself. So in today's time-pressed world, reading 700 verses is all that you need to really understand. One could go through the works of Kapila Muni on Sankhya Shastra to really understand what is karma. One could read tons of scriptures on, particularly Vaishnava scriptures or Narad Pancharatra and so on, to understand what is bhakti or devotional service. One could read all the Upanishads and read whatever commentaries they can get their hands on various Vedas to understand what is jnana. Or they can just read this one text and know the difference. That what is bhakti, what is karma, what is wisdom. and where to apply bhakti, where to apply wisdom, and where to apply your karma. And that is why it's a core scripture of Sanatana Dharma. Third is Ganges. There it's very important. I mean, I could go on all esoteric definitions that, oh, it's the major artery like coursing through your veins. It's Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati in your body and so on. But I'll just tell you very simply. It's the one river that starts right from the top of the Himalayas in India, from Gangotri, and a confluence of multiple rivulets, streams, and rivers that continues all the way down to Ganga Sagar. And that is how it connected the culture and the cultures, the various ideologies of this country. Now, it assumed significance of great proportions because when you immerse somebody's bones or ashes in that river after they're passed, somehow you start to build a divine connection with it. And it was a river that at one time for a major part of the country was the chief source, Ganga and Yamuna, on particularly from the north side, for irrigation and to sustain livelihood of people. And if we are to believe the scriptures, then it came right first from Vishnu, whom Shiva captured in his matted locks and then flew down. One thing which belongs to both the energy of Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva. And because it's energy itself, it's Divine Mother. The only river to have that attribute or those qualities. So whether somebody was a Vaishnav, a Shakt, prayer worshipper of Devi, Vaishnav worshippers of Vishnu, or Shav, worshippers of Shiva, for them this river became the symbol. Because Vishnupadi, and then from Shiva's jatas, locks, and onto earth. And when it first descended, as you know, that story with the Bhagirath's great penance, he did it to appease his ancestors. Now, as we are progressing as a race and as a culture, the importance of praying to ancestors is somehow taking a back seat. But it's a very potent practice. Only if it's done with the right sentiment to call upon your ancestors some people call them guardian angels or whatever name you want to give them, because you wouldn't be here without your ancestors. It's their DNA that we carry. So many things are linked, they live in us. So many things that are beyond our control physiologically, biologically, or even just emotionally or mentally, because it's ingrained in our DNA, can be soothed, can be calmed by worshipping the ancestors. The only trouble is when it becomes a dry ritual, then it loses its meaning, significance, and effect. So that's why Ganga, Ma Ganga, that we said this is the mother river. And the Vedic way of life was to see God in everything. Whether that's a river, a stream, a mountain, a tree, a plant, a bird, an animal, a human being, or anybody for that matter. Yoma pashyati sarvatra sarvam ja mai pashyati. See me in everybody and see everybody in me. Tasyam na pranashyami sajamena pranashyati. I no longer remain invisible to that person, and that person's no longer invisible to me. And that's why even the river Ganges, Ganga, became Ma Ganga. It's a form of murder. It's important to the sustenance of the people at that time, for sure. And as far as gaw is concerned, or cow is concerned, of course, there's a lot of politics around it. And that concerns me not at all. I mean, somebody could be doing it for whatever reason. But I will first share with you the original reason. There wasn't practically a family in this country that did not have a cow. There was a time when every family or every other family will have a cow, and they looked upon cow as a mother. That this cow is giving us milk. This cow is helping us in the fields. And this cow is giving us cow dung, which we are using as fuel. And therefore, this cow is an integral part of our family. The love we shower on our pets today is the love people showered on cows and horses at one time, because they were pretty common. Would you eat your own pet? Unlikely. And people will judge you for that. So the sentiment grew from there. And then when 500 years ago, Bhakti Lahar came, when many saints in India came who promoted devotional service. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, devoted to Lord Jagannath and Krishna. Meera, devoted to Krishna. So these two saints and many other who were Vaishnav saints. The idea became that because the cows were so loved by Krishna, that we adore them just as much. That was the idea. That you wouldn't hurt what is loved by the person you love. Because if you hurt that thing or that person, then the person you love is also hurt. So that was the sentiment. But I don't think the idea was that we should have stray cows on the roads, and that we should not feed our people, and we should place more importance on other things. But to your question, without understanding these four, one cannot be a Hindu. They can say whatever they like, because it's such a vast way of life, religion. You can be a Hindu even if you don't believe in God. I mean, Advaita comes pretty close to that. It's just a refined way of saying, I don't believe in God, or certain forms of Advaita. But without these four, you cannot really call yourself a Hindu. Now, of course, the question arises, there are many statements that say that during the times of Rama and Krishna, they did Gomedh Yajna, where they would slaughter a cow. What about that? There were Ashwamedha Yajna, where they would eventually slaughter a horse. What about that? That was that era. This is this era. I don't know.